something that comes to mind is that idea of the idea of being cool. Like we have that word. I'll just use that word because
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Being cool is something like exactly as you were describing. To genuinely be cool.
Which you are, by the
I
way.
did.
Which you are, by the way. I'm a bit of a connoisseur of cool, and you're definitely cool.
Well, that's cool.
Not hot, not cold,
Yeah, right.
as Michelle would say.
Fresh.
Fresh, yeah.
Um, yeah. Also, to be truly that, you have to you have to not know it's
Yeah.
going on.
It needs to be an oblivious thing. It needs to be, like I said before, natural
Yeah.
and just so authentic that it's like
Hmm.
it's just so smooth because it's not overthought, it's not even thought about. It's just
Yeah.
God, the way he moves, the way he talks, the
Yeah.
way he just sits down.
Natural.
Everything just has to flow seamlessly.
Yeah.
And if you overthink things, then it becomes like, oh, you can just tell.
Yeah.
This is just an act. He's acting cool. Yeah, he looks cool, but he's having to think about every single thing he's doing,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that's not cool.
That's so funny, isn't it? It's that trying to be cool or
That's
trying to
it.
be anything really is not the same as being a thing. And
Yeah, that's it. It's cool is for me, cool is synonymous with being
mm,
rather than attempting.
yeah,
If someone's attempting to be cool, then that's not cool.
yeah, sure.
Whereas if someone's not trying to be cool, but they are just cool, that's really cool.
So funny, isn't it? It makes perfect sense. And you can use that same kind of equation across being our natural selves all the time, is that you don't have to try to be yourself or
No.
attempt to or try and manufacture it. It's something you already are.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of knowing who you already are so that you can then be it.
Yeah.
And um and it's the easiest thing we can do because that's who we naturally are. You don't have to do anything extra. Just be yourself, which is the same thing as being cool. It's like
Exactly.
just easily.
It's a 100%, in my mind, it's like a 100% trust in yourself. And from that trust comes pure, authentic, spontaneous expression. And that, when you see that, you know it. That's
Exactly.
really cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's so interesting. The My sister's cat that I'm looking after, he's got a really interesting way that he moves. Like most cats do,
Yeah.
but I've not witnessed a cat that walks quite like him, and he's
He's
bloody
got some swag.
such a cool cat. He's got serious swagger. Um, and yeah, and obviously that's something he's completely oblivious to. He's not thinking, not once has it probably entered his mind. It's like, I hope I'm walking right. I hope I'm walking cool. Like,
I hope I'm impressing him.
I hope I'm pressing his cat. Like, I hope I don't. Should I walk like this? No, he's not thinking about that.
Yeah.
It's just who he is, and we have that built-in um, means of identifying that, so that I think it's probably part of our expansion is to reach to become who we've decided to be in this life,
Yeah.
and to play around with ideas, try different clothes on, try different ways of being on until you go like, that's me, just that,
Yeah.
like,
That's it. And it's a comfortable when, as you know, when you're being your true self,
mm,
it's a comfortable, and you've been trying on different clothes, as you say, and trying on different ideas and characters. It just feels natural. It feels comfortable. You can relax,
mm, mm,
and it's not an effort. It's effortless.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's. I do. I don't think too much about it because that wouldn't be cool. But I do like to consider, what it means to be smooth and cool and
mm, mm,
authentic. And
yes,
most of the people, if not all the people that I consider to be cool, are just that. They're natural and they're authentic.
mm,
Um, and I think that's one of, if not the main threads
yeah,
that are common towards most people who are cool. is that it's effortless.
That's it. Yeah. And that authenticity shines through, and uniqueness as well, because the thing that's often, it's like, oh, that guy is really cool. It's what they've got going on is not the same as anyone else.
Yeah.
In a way, they're bringing their own. They might look like other people, but it's like they're being their own specific
Yeah.
selves.
They've
So
got their own personal flair, which no one else can
that's it.
express because they're fully embodying their unique frequency,
Mm.
and that's cool.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's, I'm thinking of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, because she's tasting all the different porridges and getting it so it's just right, the temperature's just right, getting in all the beds, like, oh, this one's just right. It's like that Goldilocks zone that we all have for ourselves where everything is just right.
Mm.
And I'm thinking of Zen as well, and like how, yeah, Zen Buddhism was looking to achieve such a thing too, where that orchestration of yourself in a way that is effortless,
Yeah,
I suppose, was one.
that was actually really um, relevant because I remember reading a text. I can't remember which one it was. It was either Buddhist or Taoist, but essentially, there's many crossovers, as you know, between Buddhism and Taoism.
Yeah.
But within this text, it essentially said the idea of the ultimate realization, self-realization, and enlightenment is a state of naturalness.
Mm.
When you stop attempting and trying to be enlightened, that's when you're really enlightened, and
Yeah.
everything is just normal
Yeah.
and natural.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, that's when you know you've made it.
That's it. That's it, right? Yeah, when what's naturally so is becomes normal,
Yeah.
becomes the normal.
That's the irony, isn't it? Is that we're attempting to do is be our natural selves all the time.
Mm.
And in that journey, we 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 often make it so convoluted and so yeah, egoic many times. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I need to do this and I need to do that. And then next thing you know, you get to another plateau and it's like, oh, I didn't need to do any of that. I can just do this. And the next thing you know, you get to another plateau and it's, oh, it's even simpler than that. So yeah, it's interesting,
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. And you said about the ego, and it's that how the beginning of wisdom is to know that you don't know. And like, that's something I sat with recently. It's like, well, I would love to, because I'd love to be wise, let's say, or I'd prefer to, knowing that that's a natural thing as well. Is that because that would, if I was to be totally wise, then I would know what I need to know when I need to know it. And yeah, never have that experience of feeling like, oh, I don't quite have the information, I don't quite have the understandings that I need. That saying, like, there's something I don't know, the knowing of which would change everything.
Mm.
Kind of having that feeling, but then to be like, well, if the beginning of wisdom is to know that you don't know, then
Then you can be open to know.
right, exactly. And I was just like so happy to say, I have no idea. I don't know. I
That's
know many things. So yeah.
that's incredible. I'm just thinking as you're saying all this is that if you think about the majority of people at the moment, they're so concerned about being seen to be all right or okay or in the know
Right.
that it's such a impediment to actually truly knowing.
Mm.
If we need, in our minds at least, to always know and always be seen to know, even if we don't know, then we're holding ourselves back.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy just that, if we really do really, really want to know,
Mm.
best thing to do is do what you do, and
Mm.
I do when I remember to, is to remind myself that I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's okay, because if I really want to know, then I need to accept and acknowledge that I don't know. And then I will be in a position to actually receive what I need to know.
Mm. Exactly. Yeah. it's like surrendering to to that particular mechanism.
Yeah,
And
and again, like the ego jumps in and says, "No, you need to know,"
yeah,
and I'm going to convince myself that I know, even though I really don't know.
yeah,
But I'm
exactly.
going to act like I know because I feel more comfortable being seen to know.
Yeah,
Whereas that gets in the way of the process.
exactly. Yeah.
It gets in the way.
And like you said, we're often concerned about, many of us are often concerned about being seen to not know what we need to know, or to not be wise enough or smart enough or enough of whatever by other people. So we'll
Mm.
attempt to make it seem like that isn't the case. There's a film I really like. It's called The Pursuit of Happiness. It's got Will Smith in it, and it's based on a true story about a man who went through poverty in the US, in San Francisco, and became a successful stockbroker through an apprenticeship program. And he's applying for this apprenticeship scheme, and something he says is, he's like, "Can I just tell you something? It's like, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you I don't know, but I will do everything I can to find out the answer, and I will find out the answer." And he says that to them, and they're like, and that's kind of what gives him the apprenticeship role, because he's turned up in rough circumstances. He's not wearing a suit. He's covered in like paint. He's been painting his house and stuff. So they're like already like, oh, he's not going to get a place on the thing. But then he says that at the end,
Mm.
and they bring him on because they like it, because he's being honest. And I love, there's those two words, honesty, honest, and honor. And I find that you can honor
Yeah,
yourself by being honest to yourself.
definitely.